Okay, and here are the answers to the quiz. Question 1. Anonymous users can post comments by default, true or false? The answer is false. We had to add a permission in order to allow them to post comments. Question 2. What do you need to do to enable commenting for a content type? Check all that apply. The answer is just D. The rest of these are kind of tricky. Let's talk through them. A is turn on comments in the content type edit form. Comments are actually a field, so they're not turned on, but in Drupal 7 you would do it this way. B, install the Disqus module. This actually could be part of the answer, but it's not a super good one. If you are going with Disqus comments, you will need to install the Disqus module. So if you selected B as well, you don't have to consider it a wrong answer. And then C, add permissions to allow users to post comments. Those permissions don't really have anything to do with enable commenting for a comment type. This relates to who uses comments rather than enabling comments for a content type. Okay, question 3. What is taxonomy in Drupal? Check all that apply. The answer is A and B, another term for categorizing content, and B, a collection of vocabularies. D is close, but you probably figured out that this is taxidermy, not taxonomy. Question 4, the libraries folder is part of the default Drupal installation, true or false? And the answer is false. We have to create that ourselves. And question 5, the color box module does what? And the answer is B, provides a way to display large images in an overlay when thumbnails are clicked. Now let's look at the solutions to our challenges. So the first one was remove the subject input from the comment form. To do this, we're going to need to modify the comment type. So let's go to Structure, Comment Types, and Default Comments. Let's take a look at the fields. So the fields just include the comment body. So it doesn't look like we can remove the subject line here. Let's take a look at Manage Form Display. So here it looks like we can disable the subject. So let's drag it down to Disabled and click Save. And now let's take a look at the comment form. I'm going to refresh our incognito window. So for an anonymous user, they'll just see the name and comment inputs. All right, not too hard. Our second challenge was figure out if it's possible to do the following. Add a new comment type that only staff with a certain role can add and view to discuss blog posts. So this would require several pieces. We would need a new comment type. We would need to add a field to the blog posts for that comment type, and then we would need to add a role and would add a permission to allow users of that role to view and add those comments. So first, let's add a new comment type. We'll go to Structure, Comment Types, and we'll click Add Comment Type, and let's call this Internal Blog Discussion. This lets us set the entity that we're commenting on. In this case, we want it to be content. Let's click Save. Okay, so now we have our custom comment type. Let's add a field to our blog using this comment type. So we'll go to Structure, Content Types, Blog Entry, Manage Fields. Let's add a field, and we'll create a new comments field. We'll call this Internal Discussion, and I'll click Save and Continue. For the comment type, we'll select Internal Blog Discussion and click Save Field Settings. We'll leave everything at the defaults and click Save Settings. So the final part is adding a role and allowing only users with that role to be able to view and edit these comment types. And this is where we're going to run into a problem. Let's check out permissions. We go down to comment. You can see that unlike content, we have no granular permissions for comment types. They're global. So if a user can view comments and post comments of one comment type, they can do it across all comment types. Now, by the time you watch this video, the latest version of Drupal 8 might support more granular permissions, or there might be a Drupal module available that adds those permissions on top. I'm going to do a quick search in Google to see what we turn up. I'm going to do a search for Drupal 8 granular comment type permissions. So there's a couple of discussions on Drupal.org. The one I'm interested in is this one, move global comment permissions to comment type level. If you read through this issue, it explains our problem and proposes a solution to offer more granular permissions for comment types. So if you're interested to know when this comment gets resolved, you can follow this issue. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So the answer to the challenge is that no, as of right now, we can't add a comment type that only certain users can use. Let's go ahead and remove the configuration that we just added. So first we have to remove the fields that use the comment type. So we'll go to Structure, Content Types, Blog Entry, Manage Fields, and let's delete this internal discussion field. Now we can delete the new comment type. So I'll go to Structure, Comment Types, and next to Internal Blog Discussion, I'm going to click the drop-down button and click Delete, and delete again. Our final challenge was to add a vocabulary with the following tags: needs review, ready to publish, and idea, add it to blog entries, prevent it from displaying publicly, and create a view that only shows ready to publish content. So the first thing we'll do is add a vocabulary. Next, we'll add some terms to it. Then we'll add a field to the blog entries content type that references this vocabulary. We'll hide it and then create a view. Let's start by creating our vocabulary. So we'll go to Structure, Taxonomy, Add Vocabulary. We'll call this Content Status. I'll click Save. Let's add our terms. So we want Needs Review. Click Save. We want Ready to Publish. We'll click Save. And then Idea and Save. Okay, now that we have the taxonomy and terms, we can add a field to our blog entry content type. So we'll go to Structure, Content Types, Blog Entry, Manage Fields. We'll click Add Field, and we'll do a taxonomy term reference field. For the label, we'll put Status, but we'll change the machine name to be Blog Status. I'll click Save and Continue. The status seems like it should only have a single state rather than multiple ones, so we'll leave this to only show one value. I'll click Save Field Settings. We'll scroll down and we'll select Content Status under Tags here, and we'll leave the Create Referenced Entities option unchecked. I'll click Save Settings. Now the last step is creating a view to only show ready to publish content. So let's edit our blog entries to have some status. I'll go to Content, and I'll click Edit on both of these entries and open them up in new tabs. We'll scroll down to the bottom. We'll set one to Ready to Publish, and then we'll set the other one to Idea. Now let's create a view. So we'll go to Structure, Views, Add New View. We'll call this Delete Me, since we're not going to keep it around. We'll show content of type just blog entry for now. We'll click Save and Edit. And so we're showing both blog entries right now, but what we want to do is filter out based on our status. So under Filter Criteria, let's click Add, and let's choose Status, and this is the one that we want. It shows up in Field Blog Status. We'll click Add and Configure Filter. Let's click Apply and Continue, and let's select the term that we want to filter by, Ready to Publish. Let's click Apply, and if we scroll down, we now see just the content that's ready to publish. Oof, that was a good one. Okay, let's clean up. I'm going to delete this view, and let's delete our field. So I'm going to go to Structure, Content Types, Blog Entry, Manage Fields, and we'll delete the status field here. And then let's delete our taxonomy vocabulary. So we'll go to Structure, Taxonomy, Content Status, and Delete. And we'll click Delete. Okay, if you completed all the challenges, we can press Enter. And just know that if you feel like this next screen isn't a sufficient reward for you accomplishing these challenges, that I completely agree. But hey, at least it's something.